Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting for the Texas Election GIS Committee to order. I'd like to do a roll call. Walter Roach.
Here.
Joe Asapinski.
Here.
Craig Emmett is not here. Doug Traeger.
Here.
Beth Finley Smith. Here. Matt Slager.
Here.
We have some visitors present. Tom Walsh.
Here.
Jennifer Ebner. I was gonna say that again, but Janelle Clark. Karen Miller, Don Jensen, and Jim Spellich. Could I have a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes? Beth and Joe, all in favor? And I don't think there's anyone here for a citizen comment, so we will proceed to the treasurer's report.
Morning.
Morning.
We'll start with public safety as we usually do. For the month of June, you'll see it was up 5.1%. It was up 16,000 from the previous year. So once again, all the numbers on the public safeties continue to go up, and see really no trend going down yet. So, which is good. So. Excuse me, I got the allergies. As far as the second page, is the tax bills, we sent them all out on the 31st. The first due date will be the 6th of July, and the second will be September 6th. And just from the numbers where we were last year to this year, we collected, it was 251 million and went up about 10 million this year. So we did send out over 67,000 bills, and the first distribution to the taxing districts will be on July 7th. So, any questions on that?
Any questions so far?
As far as our investments go, we have one of the CDs came due actually over the weekend, and I'll be renewing that today. I'm anticipating we'll probably go with a 13-month or 12-month. I know the rates are at 4 or better, so I would anticipate that that's what we'll be with Federal that bank. Actually, they just called me right before I came up here, but I anticipate that'll be over 4% when we renew that. So overall, our yield is a little bit over 4%, and then once we renew that one, I think it'll be a little bit higher than that also. So we don't really have anything coming due till July 19th, and we have a few things coming due in August. So I would anticipate, over the next 6 months or so, we'll have hopefully everything up over 4%. So.
Did you ever anticipate you get that to
No.
rate the side?
Not this quick. 18 months ago, I would say you're nuts if you were going to get 4% on a 1 year, but that's where they're at. So actually, a lot of the CDs that we were able to get on the brokerage side, they're still a little bit over 5%. So the ones that come due in August, hopefully we can get close to that on those too. So the local banks and the brokered CDs we get typically are about a 1% difference. So,
okay.
But try to keep as much money as local as we can. So, and on the reverse side, just has the couple other CDs that we have that we placed through public safety. So those yields are a little bit higher. So. Outside of that, oh yeah. So, yes, Doug?
Doug?
Jim, what are the breakdowns on the back?
The back are certificates that we have that we brokered through. Actually, those are through. The first group is with Mike Vizzetti's group, and then the public safety the ones, we had some money, quite a bit sitting around in cash, so we invested some of that too.
But why is that broken up from the stuff on there?
Because it's separate, it's not from general fund money.
Oh, this stuff is from,
Yeah, the front pages are the general fund, or
this
the,
stuff is insured trust.
right, it's segregated,
Yeah.
separate.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay, do we have, any other questions for Jim? If not, do I have a motion to accept his report and place on file?
Our bills later.
Joe and Walter, all in favor? And I know, Mr. Traeger probably just,
Pardon?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got a chance to look at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
We actually have.
Doug, have you gotten to the treasurer's bill yet? Okay, all right. So as soon as, Mr. Traeger's reviews the bills, we'll get those paid.
Okay,
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay. And Jennifer?
Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Marty.
Alrighty, so for the month of May, we showed an increase of $427.88 compared to April. Most of this is reflected in marriages and credit card purchases being up, but this is down $576.23 from April of 2022, but it's still very, very close in perspective. So as far as elections, I've worked with the state's attorney's office as well as IT to come up with an RFP for new equipment for elections. Hopefully we're going to have that finalized today. The tentative bids are to be returned to Amanda in the county board office on July 17th. And then the plan is to bring them to committee on July 18th to open them up. My office is working on getting ready to do the purge, which is where we send out new voter cards to all registered voters in the county. This also helps with cleaning up the voter rolls and things like that. I've been made aware of some possible errors in some fire districts and departments through Colin.
Yes.
I always want to say Colin or Colin, yeah, from Colin. And so we're in the process of figuring out if they belong where they show they do or not on the map. There was 374 parcels. And I've reached out to most of the districts already, and I'm waiting to hear back from them if this is where they go or if they need to be, if I need to reach out to a different district to see if that's where they go for sure. They have agreements among themselves that we're not made aware of in the county, apparently. So it's like, how do you know for sure? Yeah. So, and I've been told this could go back as far as like 20 years, that this could be this way from 20 years ago or so. So yeah, nothing recent of why it's happening or why it's that way. We did receive a $16,065 check for reimbursement of election judge. We have not, from my understanding, received the 2 grants back for the roughly $84,000, but we've been approved for those. So I'm just waiting for the checks to come back on those ones. And then I'm going to be working with my election judge here in the very near future of placing the judges where they want to be. So this last election, we sent out a questionnaire to all the judges who worked to find out if they're willing to, or if they want to stay in that one precinct, or if they're willing to move to a different precinct if we need. So we're going to get a head start on that early this year. So when it comes closer to time, we know exactly where we need people. And can hopefully get those filled quicker. We need almost 600 judges this time for both elections and in 24. So for each election, I should say. Oh, five people, 119 precincts. So it's quite a few. And then a reminder, our next the presidential primary is going to be March 19th, 2024. And if you know anybody that wants to be an election judge, have them contact my office. I'm still putting that out there. And then we did roll over to the treasurer's office on May 18th. Questions?
Doug,
What did you, how did you advertise the RFP for the election?
I haven't yet.
Oh,
I haven't yet. Yeah, once I get the approval from the state's attorney's office and IT, then I've talked with Amanda. She's going to publish it for me, and we're going to do a question and answer session.
okay. So none of those people will be local, will they?
What's that?
The people who are
The
gonna bid on
vendors.
that?
The vendors? They've already know that it's coming, so they know to watch for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's only 3 in the state that I'm aware of. And I already told them I will let them know when it's getting published so they can watch for it. And then if there's anybody else, obviously they have to look in the paper because I don't know of them to reach out to them to let them know.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
any other questions? Okay, if not, reports for everything, no legislation updates?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, so could I have a motion to accept her report and place on that? Beth? And Doug? And are you still working with those bills, Doug?
I'm done.
Okay.
Now I gotta give the bad so he can.
Okay, all right, well then Jennifer's and Miss Matt is trying to.
Okay. Thank you.
Paid for you too.
Did you do it? Yeah. Did you do a vote on that last vote?
Pardon me?
Did you do a vote on that last vote? You said, I think I did.
To accept the report.
For the report.
Yeah. Was that
Yeah, but I didn't hear a vote.
all in favor? I'm sorry. I had a motion and a second to accept the report, but I neglected to say all in favor, so all in favor? Aye. Okay.
Yes, I guess.
Good morning.
No.
Go ahead.
Want to wait for the bills or?
Well, yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I did want to explain the bills a little bit. You'll notice there are. It's- There is $1,875.60 in bills that we're paying out. We have in the past had an escrow for our customers for copies. We have changed the way we are doing our accounting, our billing. And so we're doing away with that escrow account. So the monies that were held in our account for those copies is now being refunded. So that's why you're seeing that $1,875. We do have a few more that we're still trying to contact to let them know that they need to, that we're going to be refunding that money to them, and they need to make a decision how they want to go forward when they need copies. Our new system that it's through Fiddler, but the new system we're doing is automated. They can, just like they go online and do their searching, they can now go online and request copies and then get a monthly bill. Instead of before, when they wanted copies, they would call the office or we go on Laredo, get the copies, and then we would deduct the money out of the funds we had held. So that's why you're seeing that large amount. Any questions on any of that?
This is newly implemented.
Yes,
into
we
the
just
system.
started it June 1st doing that. So, trying to get all the funds that were being held for those copies refunded to everybody. So that's that large amount that you're seeing there for the bills. I said, we still have a few more. That's not all of it, but it's the bulk of it. So we're hoping to get that changed. That'll make a little easier for our girl that does that monthly invoicing. It's connected to our Laredo searching where people have subscriptions. But now they can do a print only subscription like type thing where they can get copies. So takes a little pressure off some of our girls for getting those copies for them. And then instead of billing them for every time they do it, they get one monthly billing. So it'll be better. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We'll go through that stuff later. Okay, let's go through my reports here. First page, of course, is my monthly comparisons for my documents. So far, since December 1st, we've recorded 5,235 documents. That is down from previous years. Oh, I just read you April, I'm sorry. 6,464 for May. So there's a difference from last year at the same time. We had recorded 8,917, so we're down quite a bit. Okay. That's understandable with the real estate market. We don't see that coming back anytime too soon. So with that recordings for May, we recorded 1,229 for the month of May. Out of that, we had 713 were paper documents, 516 were e-recordings, and timeshare documents were 122. So working on our back indexing as we will be for the next how many years. We have 451,990 documents in there, which means those have all been scanned. Girls, when they're not working on daily walk-ins, they work on getting those documents indexed, which makes our online searching, being able to search back farther. The Laredo subscriptions, we have 70 total. Tapestry searches since December 1st through now is 3,016. And we have one Monarch subscription, and that is Dwight Publishing. For those that know, the publication that comes out that shows all the recordings, that's the company that uses that subscription. And what they do is they're getting our bulk data on that, so they can fulfill that report. Property fraud alert, 1,561 signed up. We have 500 veterans signed up, and we have 30 businesses signed up. So any questions on any of the document counts or anything?
Any questions?
The next page for the month of May, we brought in 84,924 for the general account, 30,818.32 for the equipment fund, and 41,810 for GIS. For expenses for the month of May, $64,276.06 out of the general fund. Out of the equipment fund, $18,975.11. So for a total revenue for the month, $157,552.32, and expenses $83,251.17. Any questions? Next page is my comparison for the budget, let you know where we're at. For the general account, $562,273.75 at 43% of what we budgeted for. For the equipment fund, $171,290, 40% of what we budgeted for. For GIS, $217,568, we're at 33% of what we budgeted for. For expenses, out of the general, $401,519.64, we're at 43%. And out of the equipment fund, $126,432.1, and that's at 34%. So we're a little, as far as the revenue, we're down a little bit than what we budgeted for. I'm anticipating that. Any questions on any of those? So then the last page is,
No.
so then the last page is just their summary dashboard that we give out, just giving a summary of the office. Kind of letting you know where we're at overall. Okay, couple things. I spoke last month. We are going to be doing some renovations in the office. Widmer Interiors is doing that. I have signed that contract with them now. I've been in contact with Bob from maintenance and John from IT, so they're very aware of the things that we need, that we're going to be doing, and kind of working with them to get everything done. Basically, we'll be taking out that long counter. We'll be putting in a counter that's going to block off the office so that people won't have free access to just come in and go throughout the office. There'll be some doors put up, and then the counter space will be so that people will come in. We're also going to be taking out a few of our public search stations. We have 7 right now. We do not need them all. With so much of the documents now online, we never have that many in the office searching at one time. So we're going to be eliminating them, making a little more room, and making the office a little more secure for employees. So I've already signed that and given that over. What else do we want to talk about? Oh,
Where's that money coming?
I budgeted from the equipment fund. I budgeted $30,000 for that. The contract for Widmer, I think it was 17. Yeah, $17,860.70. Bob wants us to get the counter out as soon as possible so we can see what the carpet's like underneath that counter. I'm kind of thinking there isn't any, but that's been there a long time. So we may need to do something about the carpet. So they're telling us, I signed this on the 16th. They're telling me 6 to 8 weeks for Widmer. So I anticipate we'll probably be getting that counter out of there probably within the next month or so. And then we'll just be ready for when they come with all the equipment.
Karen, if there isn't any carpeting underneath there, we have to.
We'll
have to
probably
spend
use the rest of that money then for
carpet.
the carpet. That's what we're anticipating.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Walsh?
Yeah. Is there any situation where your records are gonna be put in a different level of storage where, because you're gonna have them online, so many of them online now, or realize you have to keep them, but do they have to stay where they're physically available at all times, or can you put them in a different classification where they be?
All of our documents are in our vault, which of course is in the back of the office. We're not changing anything back there at all.
Yeah.
Okay, and we do have to keep those documents. Of course, we have records going back to the 1830s.
Right.
all those books and the plats and that are still there. People still do use those, so we want access. What will happen once the office is done, it'll be closed up. They'll still have access to that room, but it'll be by us opening the door instead of people just being able to freely come in and go throughout the office. It'll be different for a while because our office has kind of been pretty free for people just to come in and roam through. So it'll be a change for a little bit for them to be more confined right there and then only go back when they need to go through the vault.
Will the older documents be, I mean, have you run into anything so far where you're picking up, properties in like Grundy County? Because at one time, I believe, we covered part of Grundy County back in the early 1830s, I think it was. But, have you come across?
I haven't come across
Yeah.
that. The girls haven't said any. I mean, they're constantly working on indexing the old documents. People will, notify us at times that, there's an error or something and,
Sure.
Clean them up right away. But, no, we haven't
I didn't
seen
know if
anything
any of those
like that.
county lines might have, because years back, they did some of that, people would come from other counties to research, saying that
They couldn't find
that was
something.
the fact that the lines have been moved.
People do they do get confused at times. Because they think a property maybe is in LaSalle County. It's not, it's in another county. I think what's helping a lot is there used to be, there still are a couple counties that still write in the books. They are not online. But I think most of them, even like I know Putnam County just last year came online and Bureau County came online. So, they're starting to pick up and that makes it easier for people to search because sometimes they can search online all the different counties.
Right.
So it makes it more efficient.
Thanks.
Okay. I had my legal description class on June 18th. We had it in the EMA building. We had 17 attending. I think it went really well. I had a lot of good response from the people that participated. It was all the girls in my office, plus I opened it up to a few other counties within my zone, and they came too. So it was a class to help the girls understand when they're indexing the documents, where those meets and bounds properties are located. Some of them caught on real well to drawing them out. Other ones, they struggled, but I think at least now they all have a little better idea of where they're putting these documents when they get them and they come in and it meets and bounds. So I was very thankful that Walt Adams from Fidelity National presented the class, and Christine Sparks from Illinois Land Title Association was there also on hand to help during the class time because it was a hands-on class drawing out the legals. And then also a thank you to Wheatland Title for supplying us our tools. They supplied the engineer's ruler, some graph paper, the protractors, and stuff like that, so the girls could learn to do that. And then, of course, Fred Moore for allowing us to do it in the EMA building, which was great. With the big U-turn, they were able to have a PowerPoint and then also, freely move about to help everybody with all the drawings. Let's see. Oh, on my schedule here, out of town travel. Priya, I've gone to that in the past years again. It is again coming up at the end of August. This year it is in Omaha, Nebraska. The amounts on here are all estimates. $1,671. I've been watching the air flights. I think I can get it under 500 for sure, around 400, but I wanted to be sure that it had enough. So is that something they have to vote on, or does that go forward?
Okay, and
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about legislation, but you want to do that first?
okay, do this first. All right, and you have the.
I gave everybody the summary, yes.
Okay, all right. Karen is requesting, uh, Frida conference,
Yes.
and, do we have any questions for her about it? Is Doug,
Make a motion to approve.
you'll make the motion to approve, okay? Make sure. And a second, Beth? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay. And- Yeah, so I will be sending out, the form that we will be approving. And I will need your signature on this. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, legislation, as you're all aware, they just broke up in, Springfield. The recorder's office did have a bill that passed. It's Senate Bill 2227. What that bill is, it's kind of a cleanup language for the recorder statute. The statute that I always went to before was a section 5018, and that section is no longer there. With the Senate Bill 2227, they've got a new section that's going to take over that. What it does is, for those that have been here for a while, years ago, the fees in the recorder's office, when someone brought a document to our office, we paid so much money for 1 to 4 pages, and we counted pages. And that was how we arrived at the amount of the recording fee. In 2017, 18, can't remember, we came about with predictable fees. And the intent of that legislation was to do away with the counting of pages. So what happened there was we did 5 classifications so that someone brought in a deed. It was a straight $68. And if they brought in a mortgage, I think it was 71. So we just had 4 different fees out there, and that's what they paid. As long as the document fell under a standard document. There was standard qualifications for a document to fall under that, but it gave us the ability to get away from counting pages most of the time. The recorder's office received a document that did not fall in that standard requirements. We felt in our office, it fell back to a non-standard fee, which was the traditional fees that we counted pages. Still kind of complicated for people. So what the legislative committee wanted to do was they're trying to get us all away from that counting pages completely. That presents a problem for our office because we have a lot of big documents. We have a lot of blanket assignments that come in. Of course, our timeshare documents that we just had the cost study on. What I've done is I've sat down with Pat Herman. He's going through the statute at this time, and then we will have to make a decision. It could come down to another cost study. The new legislation does allow us to, it doesn't allow us to count pages, but it does allow us to add $2 for every parcel. Right now, when we do like a blanket assignment, we charge 19. So that is according to a cost study that was done years back, way before I came, okay? So we've got to figure out now, if we follow the statute completely, is our office still going to be meeting our needs? So Pat's going through the statute. We'll have another conversation. We'll decide. I do not have a problem with not counting pages anymore. because we still count pages. I don't have a problem with just dropping that. That's only $1 per page. I do have a problem with dropping the 19. I think that could be detrimental to our office. So we've got some decisions to make. We need to do some looking into it. If we do need, of course, we'll bring it back here, be up for discussion, be a decision we have to make. But I think we'll just take one step at a time, see what Pat has to say about the new legislation coming through. Most of the bill, if you look at the Senate Bill 2227, it's pretty fat. But most of it's cleanup language. But then the section on the fees is what really is changing for our office. Thursday, we go to the clerk and clerk recorders Zone 4 meeting. It's going to be hosted by Putnam this time, so it's pretty close. It'll be at Spring Valley Boat Club. We'll be there for most of the day, or I'll be there for most of the day. In the morning, we've got our zone meeting. In the afternoon, Fiddler is doing some presentations. As I've discussed here before, the rural housing support, that extra $9 goes into effect July 1st. Some counties are struggling with that because the way the legislation was written, some counties are taking that extra $1. South County is not. We are only increasing ours to $9. But July 1st, that does take effect. I have been out, visited banks, title companies, attorneys. I've taken different days and I went to Streeter, I went to Grand Ridge, I went to LaSalle, Peru. Just last Friday, I went to Mendota, just to make sure everybody was aware of it. They didn't have any questions. I feel good about LaSalle County, about our customers knowing what's going on and getting the new rates. So July 1st, everything goes up $9. So deeds will be $77 to record. Easements and miscellaneous documents will be $77. Mortgages will be $80, and leases will be $82. That Senate Bill 2227, I should say, that does not go into effect till January 1st. So we got a little bit of time. Any questions about anything else?
John?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the cost that you charge, the cost study, I should say. They're so critical in relationship to defending the entire issue because there are challenges that come up
Yes.
on those fees, and it just really it covers everything, you know, and that it costs a little money up front, but it's just the idea. And I recollect one that took place a number of years ago on marriage licenses, and it was challenged, and the challenge won, and therefore we had to go back through the books and contact all those people and refund the money that was due to them. So, and it works the other way too, but it works the other way, we're just out, you know, and especially with those large documents that you have from those.
And one thing in there is in the Senate Bill 2227, it talks about plats and mats. I think it's like they want us to charge 101, I'm not sure. And then $2, we charge like 129 right now, and then charge $19 per parcel. So, you know, I know we've got some decisions to make. We need to look at it, have a close look at it. And, you know, that's why I've talked to Pat and he's kind of looking at it. Sure, we'll have a discussion on it and see what's best for our office. I do know that some other counties have recently had cost studies done, full cost studies, because remember, we had the one cost study done for the timeshare documents, and that was $5,000. I do know a couple counties that are recently going through the cost studies right now. because of the cost studies, because of the RHSP fee, and they were anticipating this new legislation coming down, and it was about $17,000. So it won't be cheap.
No, but it's
Yeah.
good for 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the
Mhm.
the other side of the coin is the fact that it does cover a multitude of, years as far as that goes. And in the long run, it protects the county also.
Yes.
It's like buying
Mhm.
insurance, you might say,
Mhm.
because of the fact that, these lawsuits do come up occasionally from different groups and they'll sue over anything. And that's one thing that they definitely will.
And we often have people that call and, say, well, in the statute, it says this, why do you do that? And, and we, of course, back our cost study that we've had in the past years. But, it has been a lot of years since we've had a full one done.
Sure.
When I came in 2016, I think somebody had just had one. Yeah, it was assessors. We had it from GIS. Because when I came in 2016, that's one of the first things I did was make sure the public knew that we increased the fee for GIS. But that wasn't a full cost study in our office. I think that was just basically your fees for GIS, wasn't it? And then, of course, I had one last year done for timeshares, which this kind of throws a wrench a little bit in that too, because we do that by a tiered system. So,
You certainly have that to go back.
we have that to go back on, but all we did on that was the time studies. We did not go into all of the documents. So,
Then you brought that to the board, so we passed that one too, so.
yes.
It's, locked in that way, so
Mhm.
you won't be the only one that gets sued, the board
Yeah.
gets sued.
Well, and that's what, that's why I come to you guys.
Right.
I don't want to go alone. But that's one of the things I know Pat is looking at is to see, how our cost studies are going to fit this. Because right now, we don't fit into this new legislation.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Okay, any other questions?
Sorry, Joe. I know Joe wanted me to do that quick.
Could I have a motion to accept your report and place on file? Joe?
Yep.
And Beth, all in favor?
Aye.
And then Karen has some bills that we would like to pay.
There's hand drop for 02229,450 and hand drop for 0010393.
Okay, could I have a motion to pay those bills? Mr. Prater, Beth Finley Smith, all in favor? And as long as the treasurer is still here, we'll go ahead and do treasurer and county clerk's bills. Okay?
That's for 0010433 $39,020.11. And drawn $3,754.97.
Okay, could I have a motion to pay those, Walter? And Doug? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we are going to read
Clerk,
county clerks.
027 $2,042.04. Hand drawn for 027 hand drawn for 00150 $200.11. And for 001
Matt, will you approve those? Okay, could I have a second? Walter?
Yes.
All right, all in favor? And we're on a roll. We'll do GIS bills before we even get started.
For 035 $18,528.44. Hand drawn $30.01.
Okay, could I have a motion for that? Walter? And Joe?
Sure.
All in favor? Okay, go ahead, Colin.
Madam Chair?
Oh, yes.
Before council starts, I got to ask Jim, and may apply to Jim too. There was a bill that had to do with tax sales in Springfield, that it changed when we did them or something. Do you remember anything about that, or did it pass, or have any effect on us?
No,
Probably affect Jim more than
I can check with you and get back to you.
Okay, it was something that it was supposed to be made it more fair, but I don't know.
The tax sale, yeah, there's only really two ways to do it. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
open out prior silent bid, so.
Yeah, okay. But I know there was a bill there and I thought it had gone to the governor signature, so I don't know.
I'll see what I can find out for you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Um,
All right, good morning, everybody. The GIS technician and supervisor assessments office, Grace, she resigned a few weeks back, so we're working on assisting, bringing somebody else on board. So a few different things we're helping with. We've posted a job ad. We're going through the resumes as they come in, kind of seeing who we think is good, and, you know, who is good candidates, who's not good candidates. We're having an interview this afternoon with one of the candidates. And then the other thing that we're doing is we set up the county with what we call our TMS ticket system, which basically is tax map maintenance. So basically what we'll do is we'll fill in for updating the maps until we can bring somebody else, hire somebody, train them and get them up to speed. So we've added the county into that system so that they can submit basically requests back. So what happens is when a document's recorded, if it's a split, combination, subdivision plat, et cetera, instead of going through the supervisor assessment's office to be updated, it'll come to us and we'll perform the updates on an interim basis. And then once we hire somebody, then we'll train that new person to make the updates. So that's kind of something we'll be working on here over the next, I'm not sure how long it'll take to bring somebody on board. It's not a fast process. Somebody may have to, make an offer. They'll have to take the job, they'll have to start. So it may be a couple month process or maybe even more before we can bring somebody fully up to speed to start updating those maps again. So any questions on that? Okay. The highway department, we did get feedback from the project we're doing with them and we're working on performing those updates. GS website still continuing with minimal issues and working on the new website implementation. EMA, the functional needs survey, we finished our internal testing. We just need to get that to them to have them review it. Drainage district maps, we've created those maps. We're just waiting for any feedback that may be there. And then the field district, the fire district map, we did get we were able to whittle the list down to about 375 parcels. We know there's some false negatives in there, if that makes sense. So what we tried to do was there's certain areas where there's large gaps because there's no fire protection districts in those areas. So we tried to weed the list down as much as possible. We know there's more problems in that 375, but instead of giving a list of thousands, we tried to reduce it down to 375. So we know there's gonna be more work after the fact, but we wanted to try to get as small a list as possible to the county clerk's office. And we worked on getting the users in. We created a website that they can go in and review the information. So we're just waiting for any feedback from that. I believe everybody's in. Is that correct, Jennifer? You know? Okay. So we're just waiting for any feedback that would need to be had after they can go through that list. We were able to create a much smaller project. We can get down to that 375 parcels. And then the last thing is I took it off the report with the trail maps. We finished that project. If there's any questions or anything, information needed on that, please let me know. So any questions anybody has? Yeah.
Yeah, I got a little concerned with the fire district maps from the standpoint of not all fire districts now offer ambulance service. Have you gotten into that split or is that anything that's been brought up to your attention?
No, it's not. That's probably managed more through the sheriff's office. So that's probably more Kurt's area than ours. Kurt Yasm. We've not been involved with that. Because ambulances are not actually taxing districts.
Yeah, they are.
Not typically.
They're in with the fire districts.
Oh, they can be separate though.
Oh, they can be.
Yes.
But I mean, in many of our rural departments, they're, if they're in with the department.
Yeah, but they
the
don't.
department is the tax department.
Right, but they don't have to be.
Part of it.
Right, it's a little different. They don't have to be.
Yeah,
Right.
but they are taxing entity, so to speak, that they have the authority.
So, yeah, if there's anything that's needed on that, that's not come past our way, so if there's any assistance we can provide there, we'd be happy to do that. Any other questions? Yes.
On drainage district maps.
Yeah.
What's the intention, the future intention, how detailed are they looking to do?
So, we try
Per
to,
parcel or?
yeah, so what we've done is we've created, the basically per parcel for those, so to give a little context, drainage districts are a little different in that a parcel can be typically for a district, a parcel is in one district. With drainage district, it can actually be multiple and it can be a part of a district. So what we've done is produced maps based on the information for the drainage districts, but the parcels that are contained within that drainage district, that distinction makes sense. So what we've done is produce paper maps or PDF maps that can be printed. And then if there's issues within those maps, we'll help kind of clean up. Same thing we did with the fire district. So basically what you do is when you're visualizing the data, you can see that there's holes or gaps in the data or things might be coded incorrectly. So we'll go ahead and try to identify those problematic areas so that it can be resolved in the underlying database.
So now the detail, would it just be for the drainage district, the arteries, the main arteries?
No, it's not the actual drainage, it's the boundaries of the drainage. Yeah, so the extent of it, the overall. We don't do anything with the actual like drainage information, like the details
Okay,
inside of it.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Hearing none. Could I have a motion to accept his report and place on file? Joe and Beth, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we've got some bills for assessment.
Zero zero one zero four nine one five $40, for service road 1015 and drop for 001049239.
Okay, could I have a motion? Matt, would you like to make that motion?
Here's that.
Okay, could I have a second? Walter, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Let's see. June 15th is our big deadline for the assessors and they all met the deadline. So I'm happy to say, they all turned in, not all of them, but this year was our quadrennial year. And believe it or not, we had quite a few assessors that really did do a lot of parcels. I know one of them turned in about 7,000, which was huge. So I don't know, for some reason, 2023 has been a good year and the assessors have actually been working really hard. So we'll figure the outcome out once we get our reporting done. It takes us about 2 to 3 weeks to get all of these reports uploaded into our system. So we're currently working on that. And as we're working on that, Abby and I are both cleaning up those reports, so they'll be ready for equalization later on. The board review has turned into the treasurer's office 361 CFEs for the 2022 tax year so far. We have received 12, actually we're up to about 15 applicants now, and today's our last day for the clerk 4 position, so we hope to start interviews next week and get someone before the end of the month before our person retires. We're interviewing one applicant today for the GIS position, so we're hoping that goes well. And as Colin said, Bruce Harrison and Associates have been helping us with drawing our maps from our splits and our new parcels and that kind of stuff for us until we do find someone. So that's really all I've got. Does anybody have any questions?
Are there any questions from the committee for Stephanie? If not, can I have a motion to approve her report and place on file? Doug Traeger and Joe Osipinski. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Tom?
After the fact, I have one question. I know CLEs, do you ever run a report that shows what the actual amounts were that it actually you might say, cost as far as tax dollars are concerned.
I think you'd have to get that to the treasurer's office, or not treasurer's, the clerk's office, right?
Well, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
we know what what exemption it is or that kind
Yeah.
of thing, but we don't track that. We just actually do the CAV and pass that down to the assessor.
Yeah,
or
but
to the treasurer.
usually it's a reduction, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the only thing that's interesting, is what the reduction,
No, we don't keep
You don't-
track of that.
you know.
Probably have to check, maybe your office, Jim.
No,
I mean, we turn the CAVs into them. They actually process them. We don't do any of the processing.
yeah, well, it's just a cost element I was kind of concerned about. I didn't know whether or not there was a way we could, defend any shortages that we might have that would come up in the whole process. But
I wouldn't know, Tom. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, well, maybe I'll stop at a cost.
Okay,
Okay, thanks.
okay, sure.
Okay, good. Nothing else for this meeting? I want to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Why she always look at Jim? She should just say my name.
Walter, or all in favor? Wonderful.